that's going to be Dallas taking on Phoenix here. Boy, oh boy, there's a lot of people I think maybe, just maybe, we're looking at the dog of the year here, especially over the next couple of weeks here. How about the Dallas Mavericks having to go to Phoenix here? 212.5 is an opening number. I kind of hard to argue with what we've seen from Dallas. They certainly have some defense. They have a superstar, but is it enough to keep it within 6? How about from a prop betting perspective, Andy? Do you look at Doncic? Do you look at Chris Paul? Who do you go to here?
I will be watching very, very closely in this one on how Chris Paul decides to attack this Dallas team. I think this is one of the more important games to watch to learn what's going to go over the next series. These two plays I'm going to talk about, I really can't recommend playing them, but they're kind of some gut feelings. I feel like DeAndre Ayton is going to have a nice matchup inside on this one. I feel like he's going to do well, especially if Chris Paul is able to penetrate. So I'm going to take him over 18.5 points. He went over in 4 straight games. Not a lot of volume from him, but very efficient at the rim. And I'm just not quite sure that Powell's going to be able to have some of the success against him. So I look for Ayton. And then Jalen Brunson. So he went over his points, rebounds, and assist total in every game last series. But, I mean, Donovan Mitchell and the Jazz just put on an all-time bad defensive performance. There's actually a fantastic video on YouTube right now. It's 26 minutes long, just dissecting all the bad perimeter defense that was played. I'm going to swing the other way, and I'm going to go under 27.5 points, rebounds, and assists because I think he's getting a little bit of an inflated line. And Mikal Bridges is going to be extremely important. I'm interested to see how Phoenix is going to use him. I'm interested to see how effective Booker is going to be on defense on the hamstring. And I'm interested to see what Chris Paul is going to be able to do. My gut feeling is that Mikal Bridges is going to be just disrupted enough to keep Doncic and Brunson under some of these high PRA totals in the first couple games. So gut feeling, Ayton over his points, Brunson under his PRA. But like I said, I won't be playing this with my own money.
Whoo, he ain't doing it with his own money. Doesn't mean he won't take Tony Mejia's money and throw it right against the damn wall. Talk to me here, Mejia. Yeah, I bet he is. What do you think here, Mejia? I think this is going to be a sneaky good series. There are some that think, 5-6 most. What do you think here, Mejia?
Yeah, I mean, this is about setting the tone in this game one, and because Bojan Bogdanovic missed that three-pointer, the Mavericks got to ride home and hang out all weekend and prepare for the Suns, and Luka Doncic now should be at 100% from that calf strain. So they're certainly in position to, if not steal this game, at least give a good representation of themselves. 0-9 in their last 9 meetings against the Phoenix Suns or the Dallas Mavericks, dating back to pre-COVID. I mean, dating back to January of 2020. And Doncic played in that first game there in that contest. We've got the Orlando bubble where the Suns dominated the Mavericks twice. And in this season's matchups, Doncic only played once, the most recent matchup back in January. And the 2 most effective scorers in the matchups that have been played this year are Kristaps Porzingis and Tim Hardaway Jr. So neither of those 2 will be part of this series. So it'll be interesting to see. I think the one thing that stands out to me from a prop standpoint, and I'll give these out their client plays, but since it's $9 Monday, I won't give you the 5% play, but I'll give you stuff that the other goodies that some of these people are getting. Only minus 250 for DeAndre Ayton to out-rebound Luka Doncic in Game 1. I think there's value there. And then of those 9 games that have been played, with the Suns winning all of them, DeAndre Ayton has had 4 17 rebound games. His rebound total today is 11.5. I look for him to surpass that. So I think it's going to be a game where Ayton really is the X factor here because he's going to have to do the switching onto Luka Doncic and make life difficult for him as they ISO. And if that pulls him out from the paint, he's got to stay out of foul trouble. I think he'll be successful at doing that. On Andy's point with Jalen Brunson, he's the X factor for them because he looked so effective against Utah. If he can carry that over somehow against a much better defense in Phoenix, he's really blossomed, and he's in for a very big payday. I wish I was in his shoes this summer.
So, Rob, the number stinks here. I don't get it. I mean, if we're talking home court in this postseason about 1.5. You're telling me Phoenix is 4.5, 5 points better on a neutral court than this Dallas team currently destroyed? I don't get it. I mean, whether you think Dallas can win the series or not, getting 6 points just feels like you have to take it. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's shaded Dallas's way, Joe. It really does. The power ratings I keep show Phoenix at home should be 7.5. They're only 6. They were 8.5. Most of the games they played during the season series. But again, like Tony pointed out, Luka's absent for a couple. DeAndre Ayton was absent for one of those games as well. I think beyond what the odds makers might be shading or not shading, I think the game one would be the most difficult for Phoenix in the fact that they really don't know what they're going to see, right? Those 3 games that they played in the season series were played so early in the year. It's well before the Spencer Dinwiddie trade. The Dallas team looks a lot different between the one that had Kristaps Porzingis and the one that now has Spencer Dinwiddie on it. So you can watch all the tape you want. I think until they get out on the floor, it might be a little more difficult for Phoenix. Dallas knows what you're going to throw at them. Phoenix has the same roster. And I'll say this. When I first looked at it, Joe, and I like to go through the matchups, and I thought right away, wow, Phoenix has a couple of players in Mikal Bridges, who's a defensive stopper, and Jay Crowder, who's very physical, that they could just bounce around on Luka for an entire series and maybe wear him out a little bit. But if you flip that around and take the other team's star player, Devin Booker, and say to yourself, Dorian Finney-Smith is one of the top 5 defenders at his position in the league. And they also have Reggie Bullock, who's an excellent defender as well. Devin Booker might not find it as easy. And I'll give you some numbers here real quick. When you talk about player efficiency, Devin Booker against Dallas this season, 21 field goal attempts in game 1, only scored 24 points. 20 field goal attempts in game 2, only scored 19 points. 25 field goal attempts in game 3 to get to 28 points. 5 of those were free throws. So, when they talk about player efficiency, that's not the definition of it. Dallas has been able to somewhat slow Devin Booker down. If you take Tony and Andy's advice, and they're both right on DeAndre Ayton, then you could combine his points and rebounds and play that one as well, because that'll go over. He had 17 and 13 the 2 times he played against Dwight Powell. Dallas is always going to be at a disadvantage in the middle because of Powell. But they know that. They play knowing that. And Dwight Powell is a much better offensive player, or at least he's a threat when Luka's on the floor. They run pick and roll real well together. They're good friends. They know where each other are going to be. So I think it could be a little bit of a factor. Last thing I'll say here real quick is that Phoenix, we've talked about it before, they're a weird team in the way they score their points. They don't make a lot of use of the 3, and they don't make a lot of use of the free throw line. And in the 3 games against Dallas, it was even less from 2-point range than normal for Phoenix. Only 52 and 53.5% of their points came from 2. Dallas is a way better defensive team than I think they still get credit for it. To me, it looks like it could be an under, guys. And I do think that if Dallas has a chance to steal one here in Phoenix, it would be in this first game, because the lineup is a little different than what Phoenix has seen against them this year.
Yeah, no, well, it's going to be a little bit different than New Orleans. That is for sure. So it should be an interesting game. But to Rob's point here, nobody takes and nobody is better at the mid-range jumper than the Phoenix Suns here. So they won't be trying an awful lot of threes with the way Dallas played defense against Utah on the perimeter. Woo! They'd be crazy to try and get into a shootout situation there. They've been good. Will they be good enough tonight, though, to take game 1?